I am Advocate Saurav Singha. Tell you about the topic on Supreme Court on Friday 24th February 2023 refused to entertain a public interest litigation, PIL, seeking menstrual leave for female students and working women across India, stating that the matter fell within the domain of policy. The Supreme Court of India recently refused to entertain a public interest litigation, PIL, seeking menstrual leave for female students and working women across India. The decision was made by a bench comprising Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice P.S. Narasimha, and Justice J.B. Pardiwala. The bench stated that the issue of menstrual leave is a policy matter and falls within the domain of the legislature and executive. The petitioner, Advocate Shailendra Mani Tripathi, argued that menstrual leave is necessary to protect the dignity and health of women. He contended that the denial of menstrual leave violates the fundamental right to equality and dignity guaranteed under the Indian Constitution. The petitioner also argued that other countries, such as Japan and Taiwan, have already introduced menstrual leave policies and India should follow suit. However, the Supreme Court was not convinced by these arguments and emphasized that policy decisions require a broader range of considerations and analysis. The court acknowledged that the issue of menstrual leave is a sensitive and important one, but stated that it is not within its jurisdiction to make policy decisions. The court's decision highlights the importance of the separation of powers and the need for different branches of government to perform their respective roles. The issue of menstrual leave has been a topic of discussion and debate in India for several years. While some private companies and state governments have already introduced menstrual leave policies, there is no national policy on the matter. The lack of a uniform policy on menstrual leave has been criticized by women's rights activists and organizations who argue that it perpetuates gender discrimination and inequality. Those in favor of menstrual leave argue that it is a necessary measure to address the discrimination faced by women due to their biological functions. The policy acknowledges the pain and discomfort that women experience during menstruation and allows them to take time off to rest and recover. Supporters of menstrual leave policies also argue that they can help to reduce stigma around menstruation and promote awareness of women's health issues. On the other hand, opponents of menstrual leave policies argue that they can lead to discrimination against women and make it harder for them to advance in their careers. They suggest that the policies can perpetuate the stereotype that women are weak or incapable, and that it can be challenging to enforce them in practice. Additionally, some argue that menstrual leave policies are unnecessary since women can take sick leave or other forms of leave to address their menstrual-related health issues. The introduction of menstrual leave policies has been praised by some as a significant step forward in the recognition of women's rights and the acknowledgement of the challenges that they face due to their biology. However, there are also criticisms of menstrual leave policies, and the decision of the Supreme Court not to entertain the public interest litigation, PIL, seeking menstrual leave emphasizes the complexity of the issue. The Supreme Court's decision not to intervene in the policy matter of menstrual leave also underscores the importance of the separation of powers and the role of different branches of government in policy making. The judiciary cannot make policy decisions, and such matters are best left to the legislature and executive, who can consider a wide range of factors and stakeholders in their decision-making process. The lack of a national policy on menstrual leave in India also highlights the need for policymakers to carefully consider the social and economic implications of such policies, as well as the need for gender equality when making decisions about menstrual leave. There is a need for a balanced and evidence-based approach to ensure that any policy is implemented fairly and equitably. In conclusion, the Supreme Court's decision not to entertain the public interest litigation, PIL, seeking menstrual leave for female students and working women across India highlights the complexity of this issue and emphasizes that it falls within the policy domain. While menstrual leave policies have been introduced in some countries, there are differing opinions on the subject. Policymakers need to carefully consider the social and economic implications of such policies, as well as the need for gender equality when making decisions about menstrual leave. There is a need for a balanced and evidence-based approach to ensure that any policy is implemented fairly and equitably. The court's decision underscores the importance of the separation of powers and the role of different branches of government in policy making. Thank you.